We continue to talk about our athlete of the week on our share at Wyopreps.com, brought to you by our great friends at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming. I'm joined by Jessie Graves, who won a state championship again at the state finals in Rock Springs last week at the state finals high school rodeo action. And Jessie, congratulations on the title. I guess let's start with, I know you've had some issues during the season, which we'll talk about, but take me back to last week and just what it took for you to win another title over at the high school finals in trap shooting.
Well, thank you for having me. This particular year is very stressful for me because when we went into it, I was actually tied with another kid out of Cheyenne East, Bryson back to Marion. So that was a lot of stress on me personally. And um coping with that tie and also all the other great competition that was also right behind us in those rankings, it was, well, like I said, stressful. So going into it, it took a lot of just calming my mind and putting myself in the position to compete. So,
All right, so you win by a half point. What's that feeling like? You mentioned it was stressful, but you win by a half point in terms of what
yep.
I saw in the standings.
Yep. So I actually ended up tying with another kid and I got in a shoot off with him. So
Okay.
that's how we settled that tie. And I ended up beating him by two in that shoot off. And that's what gave me that half point to advance in front of him. So,
All right, well, congratulations. What did this title kind of mean to you at the high school finals rodeo?
well, this is going to be my second overall title and my third state title, but for it being my senior year, it just means a lot more to me to end it on a solid note like that and to be representing Wyoming at the national level my senior year for the second year in a row. And it's a big deal to me. So,
Yeah, I I understand from the nomination that you ended up kind of having a little broken part there, had to kind of adjust. What was that like? Take me back to that kind of earlier in the season and then having to adjust and rally down the stretch.
yeah, so at the beginning of my season, my stock on my gun had actually cracked and was really throwing off my shooting game. And it just really threw me off the wrong path and it kind of wrecked me mentally. And I couldn't figure out a good spot to put myself in again. And a good mentor of mine, Ray Killian, helped me figure out a new stock. And we got that put back on my gun. And then we just advanced from there. It was a little hard at first getting adjusted to that. But by the end of the day, we got figured out and we got me rolling back on the same path as I was before and hopefully a little bit better.
Well, good for you. It sounded like you kind of got on a roll at the end of the season after some adjustments. Do you think that kind of helped push into last week?
Mentally, I was a lot more confident than I was at the beginning of the year. So I would say that that definitely helped push me through to that state championship and give me that confidence going into it. So,
All right, talk a little bit about these clay targets, and you mentioned that you've got to kind of calm your mind. I'm guessing you got to kind of calm your nerves. How do you go about that? What works best for you?
well, it's everybody's process is completely different. For me, I just like to always stay focused and keep my eyes on the target. If you distract yourself with other things instead of just like the score itself, I like to keep my mind on like a song. We're not allowed to listen to music in the on the line, but I just like to think of anything else but the actual competition. And I don't know, just breathing. Because most times when you compete, you just forget to breathe because you're so anxious and sitting there on the line. And I think just breathing and keeping your mind calm and just getting ready for the competition, you'd be fine.
Well, that's cool. Whatever works, I guess, to calm the nerves the best. Everybody has their own, as you mentioned, kind of routine and idiosyncrasies, and there's nothing wrong with that. For you, take me through kind of what your mindset was at state. You mentioned you had to kind of calm down and kind of take it just shot by shot. But what do you think about when you're at a competition level like that?
Well, going into the state event itself, I was very, very anxious. And then like walking out of the vehicle and seeing all my competition getting ready for the day, it just kind of was ruining me a little bit. But at the same time, I was just like, I just need to keep myself together and focused on this game. And I'll just get through this one and hopefully have the better outcome and represent the state of Wyoming, hopefully, which ended up being good. When I get on the competitive level, my brain in a way it just kind of just shuts off and I just kind of lock in on the competition
Okay.
And I think that just really helps for me. My mom and my parents call it my game face. I do it a lot in a lot of the events I do, but I just kind of like shut everything out and I just focus on what I have at hand.
Where does your love for shooting come from? Well, what kind of drew you to that? What's gotten you into the competition arena?
Well, I had started shooting shotgun my eighth grade year,
Okay.
and I've been honestly shooting guns my whole life. I would have to contribute that more to my uncle than most people, I would have to say, but for the competitive wise, I would contribute that to 4-H. They really threw me into that competitive aspect of the shooting sports, and it really just fueled my passion for it. And then once I started actually winning and getting good at it and competing at those higher levels, it just fueled my passion for it even more.
Nice, nice. Well, congrats on a great week and a nice little rally down the stretch. What do you do between now and next month's National High School Finals coming up in back in Rock Springs? So at least it'll be a familiar setting. But what do you do between now and then to kind of keep yourself sharp?
Well, practice, 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 practice. I have a few competitions lined up as we speak. I have 4-H nationals coming up in a week or two that I have to compete for. So that'll be a good practice going into this one. I have high school state clay target league coming up right after that as well. So just keep getting myself involved in those competitions and keep staying at it. So
Well, it sounds awesome. Well, congratulations on a great week last week and another title, and wishing nothing but the best here down the stretch as you get ready for Rock Springs next month.
thank you so much.